Hi there. Today let's have a look at how to sew this beautiful bareback origami diamond keyhole neckline with pleated skirt. If there's something you'd love to do, please do stick and stay and let's do it together. To be able to sew this beautiful style, we first would have to draft our basic bodice. In case you don't want to know how we came by this, I'll put a link in the description box. We'll first modify the front, then to the back. We'll extend the shoulder dart to touch the shoulder to nipple point. We'll slit through these lines and we'll cut this so that we'll be able to fold this dart onto the other. Then we mark 1 inch from the down here all the way upwards. We draw a line to connect this 1 inch through the shoulder to nipple point towards the second armhole. We are marking 3 inches from this part towards this side. We mark another 3 inch from here towards the neckline. Then we draw a line to connect this through that point towards the side seam. Then we draw a line which is also parallel to this line, but then moves through the center front mark here all the way towards the other armhole. And so since the interval between these two is 3 inches, we'll need the same thing. And so we'll measure 3 inches from this point downwards. Then we draw a line which will start from this point through that point also into this armhole. We will label this as number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. We have to put another pattern paper beneath this and then we trace number 1 out. We'll do same for number 2, number 3, and number 4. So let's start from number 1. By intention, I have extended it from this very point it reached all the way to the armhole. When it comes to this part, I'll trace the dot line and then add the seam allowance to it so that when we join the two, we don't fall short as that. For number 2, lest I forget, because I wouldn't want to insert any sleeve, I'll take 1 inch inward for both of the shoulders. Right, then we can go ahead and take off number 2. We repeat same for number 3. For number 4, we will not extend this line till it gets down here. No, we'll just extend it a little below this number 1 line we have here. And so the little explanation we have in this is that we have traced from the top here, which is this, to this side. And then I also added 1 inch downwards here, and that is this very line. And because on that line, it will be affected by this dart opening we have here. That's what I've also opened down here. And then the rest continues downwards, as we have here. What you're going to do is that because we'll be sewing this dart to have a bump like this, it means I should be adding my 1/4 inch allowance so that when these two come together, I'll be able to sew the dart off perfectly well. And so we're going to add 1/4 inch inward so that we cut. We should have done same for number 1, which we didn't, and so we'll go ahead and do that. So this is how it's going to be like after we are done. Now we go to the back pattern to also modify it. Because we are taking 1 inch from the front shoulder, we would also have to take 1 inch from the back shoulder so that the shoulders meet exactly. I'll mark 3.5 inches from the arm depth downwards and connect this to the neck width. I have used these patterns to cut out the fabrics themselves, their linings, and then the interfaces. And so this is how I did them. When we come to the back pattern, this is what we had. We have cut 2 pieces of this, and then we've also cut 2 pieces of these where we fused it with the interface. This is a normal violin. When it comes to the front, number 1, this is it. This is number 2, and that's number 3, and this is number 4. Very beautiful. What I did was that I would want to interface the good side, and then this will serve as the lining. And because of that, I did not cut through them, but rather I placed this very line on fold so that I could have the line inward. I could have it finished, so we wouldn't have to do anything to it again. So did I do for all the others. And so in this instance too, it's folded into 2. And this is also folded. When it comes to this, the same thing. The fold was on this line. And so when we open it, this is what we have. We'll go ahead and do the stitching. I'll first stitch number 3 onto number 2 so that I'll be able to finish the neckline. And so I'm going to place number 3 backwards like this. Then I'll run stitches on the neckline and then bring number 3 on top of number 2. So we're going to do that and then we'll return. After this is beautifully sewn, we'll go ahead and deal with number 1 and then number 4. This is what we are doing. We first would have to stitch our dart. We'll do them separately. And so we open this up. We'll stitch the dart for this part. So we are stitching this dart. After that, we'll stitch the dart for the lining. And repeat same for the other side as well. When it comes to number 4, this is the dart we have. And so we're also going to pinch this. And then we stitch off the 1/4 inch dart. After stitching the dart for number 1 and that of number 4, what we do is that we turn it back to the good side as we see here. I'm going to run overlock stitches on the edge to secure this very part. Since we had added 1 inch to the number 4 downwards, we're going to mark this line, which is the 1 inch above the edge here. After stitching this on beautifully, we attach number 2 and number 3. Then number 4 will come on top of number 3 like this. So we're going to stitch this side and then that side. After stitching this, we'll now go and then prepare the back pattern. We'll go ahead and run stitches on this part. After finishing this, we place the front on its good sides together. So we'll match this with a good part, and then we'll match this other one to the lining. So we'll go ahead and stitch this all the way to that side. And we'll repeat the same for the other shoulder. Next, I've cut 2 crossways strips or bias, which I'm going to use to finish the armhole. And so it is 2 inches and the length is 23 inches, long enough for the whole armhole. I folded this into 2 so that I get one side to look finished and the other unfinished. I repeat same for these other one, and then we'll go ahead. So this is our back and that is our front. We're going ahead to stitch the crossway strip all along the armhole. We repeat same for the other side. After stitching the bias on, we're going to hem it in place. Once our hemming is done, we'll put this armhole good sides together and then we stitch off our seam allowance, and we'll repeat same for the other side. For the down part, we have cut 2 fabrics. The length is about 16 inches. We've hemmed the edge. This is for the front and that is for the back. And this is the zipper allowance you see here. We're going to pleat this into getting the waist, which is exactly the same as this. And so this is also the waistband for the self and for the lining. This is for the front and these 2 are for the back. And so we're going to pleat this till we get this very same size, which is 14 inches. And then when it comes to the other, which is for the back pattern, we'll split it into 2. We'll get 8 inches for this, 8 inches for that, so that we'll get our 14, which is 7 plus 1 inch zipper allowance. And then we'll get 7 1-inch zipper allowance. And so we'll get 14 for the back and 14 for the front. So we'll go ahead and pleat this, and then we'll come back to fix it onto our dress. And so we have placed our waistbands, the one which has been fused with the interface, onto the pleat. We're going to stitch them. Since our top is done, we're going to mark the center front here and then also match that against the skirt's center front. And so we'll go ahead and stitch this. We run overlock stitch on one edge of it, place it on top of this, and also stitch so that the top is sandwiched in between the skirt and then the lining for the waistband. After stitching this, then we would iron and then flip it to finish the inside. And so now we're going to top stitch from this side, and then it secures it at the back. For the back skirt, we'll place the lining of the waistband on like this. This side has been knitted, and so we're just to stitch the waist, top stitch it, and then take it to the wrong side. After finishing the waistband, it's now time to fix our zipper. We're taking about 9 inches for the zipper, and then we'll close the rest. So we'll go ahead and fix our zipper and then come back to continue. After installing our zipper, the next step would be to place the front onto the back skirt. Then we take our seam allowances off.